So in this video, I'm going to be taking you on a little behind the scenes of my side hustle. You can't see me, but I just used air quotes because I don't even know if you would consider this a side hustle because I'm not making any money from it yet. But my YouTube channel, my blog, my Instagram, the meetings that I host, I consider all of that my side hustle. On this particular Sunday, I had a podcast interview, I had my weekly meeting, and some other things, so I thought it would just be cool to show you what I do behind the scenes to make all of this work. What I'm doing here is creating our virtual meeting invite. So if you don't know, I host 2 meetings a week for sober and sober curious younger people, and on this invite I just put the date and the time of the meeting, and then I upload this invite to Flowdesk, which is the email platform that I use to send out all Zoom links for these meetings. So I put that in there and then I send it out to everyone who has signed up for my meetings through my website. The link to sign up is in my description. All the meetings are free if you ever want to sign up. And then I just go into Instagram just in case people don't check their email, and I send the invite, or I add the invite on my story as well, so that people can kind of be reminded that there's a meeting, and then they can go into their email and click on the Zoom link to join. So that's what I did there. This podcast is called Resilience in Running with my friend Liz. She lives in London. She went to the University of Washington. And I've been on her podcast before, but today we are talking about the link between eating disorders and alcoholism. So I think it'll be super interesting. So I don't know if it'll be out before this YouTube video. If it is, I'll link it down below. If it's not, you can always check my press page on my website where I have all my podcast episodes that I've been on listed. But I think what you said about, being on this journey no matter what is so important for both, alcoholism and your eating disorder. You have to be so headstrong to not fall into the binge drinking culture or diet culture, because they're both so prevalent in our society. And even if my roommates are talking bad about themselves or they're not eating before they're going out, I have to be so strong in my own decision and say, you know what, no, I'm gonna eat before I go out.
I struggle with knowing what are the things that I can control and what are the things that I need to just be okay with or move on and make my peace with. And sometimes I go a little too far into I just need to be better at this. I just need to change. And so it's always a relief when it's wait, no, there is something I can do, because I'm trying my best.
Back from the mall a couple hours ago, and I spent most of the afternoon watching a soccer game with my dad, and then now I was supposed to have my Instagram live, which I talked about, but I have a business trip coming up this week, my first one, and so I have to pack for that, and I was just running around doing some other things, so we moved it to next Sunday. For those Instagram lives, I really like to do it because I really like to, anyone who asks me to be on a podcast or be interviewed, I just have the time right now, since it's not that many people, where I just say yes to everything because it's good exposure. It gets, my name out there and my message out there. And I also, from every interview that I have, I learn something different, which is why I love doing them. And I feel like that is what I'm kind of missing in my content. I would love to interview people and get their perspectives and build my community that way. So I'm thinking about a couple different ways that I could do that, and I don't want to spoil anything yet, but I feel like I have some ideas in the works. So I just wanted to briefly talk about that, just in case anyone's curious, how I get podcast interviews or Instagram interviews. It's all usually just DM, people reach out, because they've came across my account and I really love doing them. I moved you over here because it's better lighting. I wanted to recap one thing that we talked about in the meeting this morning. One person said that she felt stuck. You know, all her friends were moving and starting their jobs, and she was, you know, doing temp jobs and still living at home. And that's kind of how I've been feeling too. Like, a lot of my friends have already moved out, moved on. My twin sister moved to New York, and a lot of my friends have gotten jobs and have moved to other places, and I'm still at home. And while I did get, you know, a job, it just feels weird getting a job, but then, like, obviously not going into the office and living at home. And so I definitely resonate with that feeling of just being stuck. Something we talked about, and something that someone else said so beautifully, is that, you know, the universe, the higher power, whatever you believe in, has a plan for you. You may be feeling stuck, but there's a reason that you're in this situation right now, and there's a reason why you haven't gotten that job yet, or why you haven't made that move yet. You know, the universe will give you what you want when you're ready. And looking back, like, I was so set on moving, you know, right at the beginning of September. Like, I was just gonna live at home in the summer, and I was hoping to get a job by September and move out. And I was frustrated when that didn't happen, but now I'm so thankful because I ended up getting a job that I enjoyed much more, and I have this cool, like, business trip coming up, and I'm saving money, and I'm gonna be here for the holidays anyways, so why not just, like, stay through this couple months here. So that was just a reminder that, you know, I am meant to be where I'm supposed to be, and the pace that I'm going at is the exact pace I need to be. And same with you, the pace that you're going at is the exact pace it needs to be. You're not behind in life. You don't need to catch up. You do not need to be going any faster than you are right now, because there's a reason that you're going at this pace, a reason that you may not know yet why. So I encourage you to just soak in where you're at right now, because one day, if you're living at home right now, or if you're stuck in college and you just want to graduate, you know, we're always looking forward to the next thing. If we really just take time to be in the moment and understand that where we're at right now may not be where we want to be, it's a stepping stone to get us where we want to be. And ultimately, you might have an idea of where you want to be in your head, but just like with body image and eating disorders, when you eventually get there, when you eventually get to that place, or when you eventually get to that dream body, you're always going to want more. So I feel like life is just about enjoying where you are in the moment and being present and accepting that if it's meant to be, it will be. I feel like that was very wooey, but I believe it. So it is Thursday today, and can't believe this is the first time that I'm actually talking to the camera all week. Well, I can believe it because I've been very busy. I've been on my very first trip for work, so I've been going into the office and staying in a hotel and, you know, getting ready and like putting on professional clothes each morning and going to the office. It's very cool because I live with my parents right now, and so starting a new job, it just didn't feel like there was any transition or change happening because I was doing it from my parents' house. And before COVID, you know, you'd actually go into an office or you'd start a new job that way, so it didn't really feel real. But this week has definitely made the whole thing feel real, and I know that when I go back home and continue working remotely, it's just gonna feel different because I've met everyone that I work with in person, and they've all been great, and I've loved meeting people. That being said, I wanted to give a little update just on how it's been for me in general in terms of a few different things. So one, I was nervous about being out of my routine because I'm a very routine oriented person. So whenever I kind of get out of my routine, I get a little bit anxious and stressed. And so being in a hotel and being on like other people's time with the events that we're doing and the dinners, and I'm trying to, you know, obviously eating and body image issue thoughts creep in of, oh, you haven't worked out for 5 days, you're gonna gain weight, or you've been eating out so much because my work has been, you know, giving us lunches and dinners, and you know, you're gonna gain weight that way. And one thing I'm learning in my book is that there's a difference between your eating disorder self and your healthy self. And when I have these thoughts, I just need to remind myself and talk back to my eating disorder self. You know, 1 week of eating out, 1 week of not working out is not going to change my body in any significant way. What's the point of eating healthy and working out and living a healthy lifestyle if I can't enjoy these types of weeks and these moments where I do eat outside of my normal routine and I give myself a break from working out? And I've had this strict diet and workout routine for my entire life, and look where it got me. It got me with an eating disorder and a lot of mental body image issues. And so why not try something else? Why not try total body acceptance? Because yes, I may not like what I see when I look in the mirror, and that's something I'm trying to work on, but the issue is not with how my body looks. It's all mental, and it's all about how I feel. This is a good challenge for me, and I'm just learning to talk back to those thoughts and just, you know, this is part of life. Sometimes I'm gonna have to go on these trips and be out of my routine, and that's just life. Life is not about a strict diet and a strict workout routine and a strict routine in general all the time. Although it's nice and it can provide structure, that's not what life is about. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Food is meant to be enjoyed. The other thing I wanted to talk about that I was nervous for was turning down drinks, obviously, in a work environment. We went to a brewery one night, and I like I said in my last video, you know, I've been sober a 1.5 years, so a lot of the first things I've already done, like first sober birthday. I've even done my first sober music festival last weekend, but because of COVID and because I hadn't graduated yet, I haven't done my first sober outing with colleagues and had to turn down a drink. So anything that I haven't done yet in terms of sobriety always gives me a little bit of anxiety, but it's not that I feel like I'm going to cave and I'm going to drink. It's just like the uncomfortable conversations that I have to have with people. But, you know, we got to the brewery. I got a water. Someone said, oh, you're not a big beer drinker? And I was like, nope. And they said, oh, they have a non-alcoholic like kombucha. So I went and got that, and it literally looked exactly like everyone else's beer. So then no one said anything the rest of the night. And it was fine. It was completely fine. So the anticipation of an event is often much worse than actually being there and going through it. So basically, to sum up, I've been having a good time. I've been pushing myself out of my comfort zone, meeting new people, asking people out for coffee that I don't know super well in my office, and it's just been a great experience. So wanted to recap that. I've been eating Starbucks oatmeal every morning, so that's what I'm about to eat now, and then I'm gonna head to the office.